you are in the world. This is Nickey, your Adventure Radio Works world host, and today we're broadcasting live from Zakopane in Poland. So I'm an athlete, I'm an optimist and a coach. I help you, I support you to shatter all your fears, achieve your goals, and embrace your truth and live life through adventure. Okay? So when you have the time, please go in on my website. It's www.adultadventureclub.co.za. Now, today I've got a very special guest here. It's my brother Anthony Seeger, who actually joined us on a very adventurous hike on Wednesday to the W.O.R.K.S lakes. And in total, we actually did a 25-kilometer hike, which we didn't realize we'd be doing. But every time we came around a corner, there was something new to explore. And we just had to find out what was on the other end. So I would like to hand over to Anthony to tell his experience of the hike through the Adult Adventure Club. Over to you, Marina.
Wow, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. You have to remember that today is the day. Today is the day when you are going to understand why Nickey is here for you, because she helps you become fearless. She helps you understand that life is only worth living when you make it an adventure. And it's not only an adventure of the physical world, into the physical world. It is an adventure of beauty. It is an adventure into your mind. It is the adventure you've been always dreaming and you never had the courage to step in. But now Nickey is here, so she will take us by the hand. I'm her student as well, so I'm ready to go wherever she's taking us, because I know it's going to be a once in a lifetime experience. Over to you, Nickey.
Okay, thank you very much, Marina. So I'm going to hand you over to Anthony this morning, which is going to explain and tell us and take us on a journey through his wonderful experience on the W.O.R.K.S lakes. Over to you, Anthony.
Thank you, Nickey, and thank you, Marina. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, wherever you are in the world. Very pleased to be here today and to share my experience with Nickey and her adventure club. Obviously, I come a long way with Nickey. She is my sister, and we've been on many countless adventures together. The experience I had on this hike of the W.O.R.K.S lakes, which is the natural lakes up in Poland, also close to the highest peak in Poland, was astonishing. It was breathtaking and beautiful. But the thing that made it most special, other than being with family, for me was obviously doing it with Nickey. Nickey and I have come such a long road, as I mentioned earlier, through so many adventures, from scuba diving, teaching me to scuba dive, to working together in health clubs, to getting me fit and getting me a six-pack. Nickey has that ability to always make you believe that it is possible to achieve what you think is impossible. And this hike, I must say, was no different. I'm a bit unfit these days. So this experience, although I had to get my picture from the top of that mountain with that lake, there was a point where I honestly didn't think my legs could carry me any further. Not only is Nickey her usual considerate, thoughtful self by providing the lovely energy drink mix, which is, what was it called? I think it was called Super Mix, and it's an all natural and organic product that gives you energy and revitalizes your body. So from that perspective, Nickey was there for me physically when I needed her, to help stop my muscles from cramping. But emotionally, just to keep going, Nickey always just seemed to have that way in order to keep someone going for that little bit longer. And as Nickey mentioned earlier, every time we came around a corner, there was just something more beautiful. We landed up going up to the second lake, which was even more beautiful to view. And then once we stood at that second lake, we had this big debate whether what we saw across the lake was in fact a rock fall, or was it ice, or was it snow? And that then became a big debate between the family, and we all now wanted to know, although I wanted to stop. Yeah, and Nickey somehow just has that way to get the extra miles out of you. And you know, in the end, none of us were right. Nickey thought it was snow. My dad thought it was a rockfall, and it turned out it was actually ice on the side of the mountain. But the view from that point of the mountain was absolutely incredible and made the entire journey so much more special. I think to have the opportunity to stand in a place of such magnificence and such beauty is such a rare thing. It makes you realize, A, how small and insignificant we are in comparison to the size of the world, but also gave me the opportunity to feel so connected and one with my surroundings. And if it wasn't for Nickey taking us up to that pinnacle point, to the ice glacier, for that photo of us all standing inside this ice glacier, I wouldn't have had the chance to have that perspective and have that viewpoint and stand at the top there and look down over these lakes and be able to just breathe in the majesticness of the environment that we were in. So yeah, it was very, very, very special. The lake itself, the W.O.R.K.S lakes, it's literally, it's melted ice that comes down from the mountains, from the top of the peaks. This water is, I can't even begin to describe how it felt to stand there when the sun came out and broke through the clouds and hit the water. The light reflecting off the water made the water literally luminescent, different colors of blue and turquoise. That there's no words that can really describe that beauty. And if it wasn't for Nickey, I wouldn't, unfortunately, have made it that far to actually be witness to that. The other thing is, you know, knowing me, I'm always late for everything. So the fact that I was committed to Nickey, to waking up that morning, to being at the breakfast table, to making sure my snacks were packed, and actually leaving on time to make this adventure, is another thing I'm thankful to Nickey for, because we got there at the perfect time. The sun was out, the lakes looked absolutely magical because of the sunlight that was reflecting off them, and we got to witness the whole day from start to finish with the clouds and the mist that rolled in over the top of the cliffs and the mountain, which obviously took the bright blueness of the sparkling crystal clear waters away. But if we didn't get up and we didn't have Nickey, you know, having a structured plan and motivating us, we wouldn't have got to see the full beauty of the lakes in Poland. So again, for that I'm very grateful to Nickey. As for the experience itself, it was about 25 kilometers in total. If you had told me we were going to do 25 kilometers beforehand through trail hikes up to these lakes and mountains, I probably would not have gone. So the fact that I made it through those 25 kilometers with Nickey's motivation, I'm really, really grateful. Not just, you know, as a friend, not just as a motivational coach, but, you know, more so obviously as my sister as well. For me, what made the day even more special is that I got to spend it not only with Nickey, but with my other sister Natani, as well as our father Jan, who's been a great inspiration and a huge motivating factor in all of us in who we are today. And Nickey's no different. So to be able to share the experience with my father and have a great laugh on top of all of it is really what made the day so special. Yeah. And yeah, other than that, you know, coming down, we all started with such optimism with this hike, and by the end of it, we were all so sore. We were all aching and paining, but throughout the whole experience, there was just so much laughter and enjoyment from everybody. And again, because of Nickey's optimism, because of her drive, because she wants you to see the best in life, not just in life, but within yourself in life, I can honestly say that I would perhaps not have done half the things I have done and not have been able to bank half the special memories in my life if it wasn't actually for Nickey being my sister and being blessed enough to have someone like her with the character she has and the ability she has to get you through these experiences. I can wildly recommend the Adventure Club, the Adult Adventure Club for anybody, and I can definitely recommend doing the hikes to the lakes in Poland, the W.O.R.K.S and related hikes. We are definitely going to come back, I think, in the end and do the rest, because there's a few other lakes up into the mountains. And I would also very much like to get to the pinnacle and the top of the summit of the mountain above those two lakes. But yes, that was such an incredible experience, and those memories are etched in time forever. So I'm very, very grateful to be part of that experience and to have had Nickey with us on that adventure. So over to you, Marina.
Wow. I was listening and imagining myself walking on those paths and feeling the air, because I know there are people who love being alongside the beach and they love the ocean. I love the ocean, but there is nothing like the mountaintop. And I know for some people, going on an adventure is more about mountains, and I know Nickey combines the best of all worlds. You could go anywhere in the world, and she will have a couple of tricks about that experience, and she will create an extra dimension to what's happening, to the happenings, to whatever you expect is going to be always a little bit more that you never thought about it. But what I want to say, Anthony, is that apart from the physical adventure, I know for me at least, it's always about getting to know myself better, because when you, like you so beautifully put it, you become one with the nature, and up there on the mountaintop, you have the chance to connect with yourself, with the nature, with everything that is so beautifully created within us. Tell me, what changed for you since you came back from this adventure, from having this experience? And regardless, you know Nickey for a long time. She's been your inspiration for all your life, perhaps. And now she is my own inspiration. I'm sorry, you have to learn to share. So how do you feel inside? Well, what that made for you? How that changed?
I think, thank you, Marina. I think, you know, we all get so busy and wrapped up in our everyday lives with all our pressures and our expectations, not just in our personal lives, in our professional lives, putting food on our table and all our responsibilities. And it's so easy to get stuck on that rat race wheel, and not take the time out to actually stop and just stop, to breathe and just take a moment to process everything. So you asked me what was different after the experience, or what changed for me. I think the ability just to go sit on a rock and just stare out at that blue water, that transparent blue water, with the waterfall coming off the mountain in the background, and just listen to the sound of the water lapping against those rocks, just gave me the space just to reflect. I think, you know, I think reflection is so important, and we don't really get time or give ourselves the time in our everyday busy lives. So we literally have to force ourselves to take time out and stop. And, you know, for me, what better way than to go on a holiday and contextually go put yourself outside of your own bubble. And only when, I think, when we do that, when we climb out of our own bubble, do we get a whole new perspective. Distance is a great thing, you know, physical distance from your everyday life, stepping out of your comfort zone. You know, they always say life begins just outside of your comfort zone when you do something different. So having that experience and being surrounded by that kind of beauty just gave me the opportunity to be still long enough to reflect and realize, wow, as you mentioned, you know, this beauty that surrounds us, it's actually in you all the time. And I wouldn't have had the opportunity to reflect on that and remind myself that space and peace and quiet is really important for me, unless I had, you know, gone up that mountain and had that chance to sit and just look down on the world and be still. So for me, what I took from that, or what came out of that experience for me, was just a deepened sense of calm. I didn't realize how stressed and wound up I was and how consumed I was with the things that are important in everyday life. But with hindsight now, after that experience, I realized they're also not that important. We can only place so much emphasis on these expectations, these pressures we have, these responsibilities we have in life. And it is equally important to make time for yourself, just to stop and be and reflect. So I had a great night's sleep. That definitely came out of the experience. For me, that's, on a physical level. But I think emotionally, just feeling calm and more complete. When you surround yourself in such a majestic environment where you feel so absolutely small, you realize how much space there is actually around you and how blessed we are just to be able to breathe in that fresh air, that the air up in those mountains, in those pine forests. Marina, it was just the smell. I'm trying to think how I can describe what it actually smelled like. The air was sweet. It was so crisp and clean, and just to be able to take deep breath after deep breath and slowly exhale. I got quite emotional up there because I didn't realize there was so much unprocessed emotions in me about lots of different things. But until I got to actually breathe that fresh air, smell how sweet it was, drink water, spring water, crystal clear water that comes off the mountaintops, and throw it on my face, and taste the sweetness in the water, the cleanness, the pure, unchemicaled water. That for me was one of the highlights, actually, was to take my water bottle and just stick it into the stream, knowing that I'm drinking unpolluted, crystal clear water from the highest mountain in Poland. That gave me such a sense of peace and well-being and gratitude that now that I've experienced it, I take that away with me for the rest of my life. No one can take that away from me. And I think that is what was so special about that experience.
Wow. So, Anthony, now you are hooked. You are a full-time adventurer. And I know that a good friend will listen to your adventures. And I want our listener to remember that a best friend makes the adventure with you, goes on an adventure with you. Because, you see, while you are juggling different jobs or different contracts or different commitments, it's always emptying yourself, because it's so much demand on your emotional vault, on the bank of your emotions, and you are giving so much, and then there is a point in your life you are asking yourself, so what's in for me? Because you feel you feel like you are emptying yourself from giving, and it's a beautiful experience to give. But when you connect with nature at such a profound level and you feel you are whole now, you feel that is something, it's filling your soul. It's something, like you said, Anthony, and we are conditioned to believe that, socially conditioned to believe that we have to chase goal after goal and go from the first winning contract to the next one, go to the next house, to the better house, the next holiday, to the better holiday. But actually, it is inside when you grow, when you give your chance, yourself a chance to grow into the person you can be, a happy person, at peace with everything. Somehow, most people I know, they are always at war with something. They have a battle there, another battle there. They have their life is like a war zone. When actually, it should not be that way. It doesn't need to be that way. It's a choice. And when you go on an adventure with Nickey, it's not only an adventure into exotic places and places where you could have amnesia, but you'll always remember, Anthony, I think, the air, how that air smelled, and you'll have that with you forever. So I hope you won't have amnesia. I'm just saying as a metaphor. You have to tell us more about the rest of your expedition. And I just wonder, Nickey, if you are still there, I know you must have been really, really tired and you slept like a log. But tell us, what's next? What's, because I know it's so much going on, and there are other places in Europe where you are going, and I can't wait. I need the breaking news. Over to you, Nickey.
Thank you, Marina. Yeah. Well, we're here in Poland and we're going home on Tuesday. We'll be arrived back in South Africa on Wednesday. Then I'm going to focus more on the adventures in South Africa, all type of safaris, the same thing with hiking and scuba diving, whatever it is that interests the person, and especially to face their fears. Then I might have a trip to Greece and a trip obviously to London for the 2nd of October for the awards evening. So lots happening. So I'm hoping to do something in every country that I go to, but the main focus will be South Africa. So like I said before, we've got the website up and running. You just click on www.adultadventureclub.co.za. You can scroll through all the different activities that we do have. And if you've got any questions, you can actually go to the last page and just input all your details there and let me know what it is that you would be interested in so that we can actually start putting packages together for groups of people. Over to you, Marina.
Wow. I was thinking now that perhaps when you come to London, I don't know how long you plan to be here, but maybe we get the other radio host and you could take us on an adventure somewhere. I don't know, there are so many places here where we could go, and they're not as exotic as they are in South Africa. But while here, maybe we can create something, another once in a lifetime opportunity for us to grow into. What do you think, Nickey?
Yes, that's definitely a great idea. And, you know, you said, Joe, maybe it's not as exciting as South Africa. Just remember that every country has got its own beauty and every country has got its special place. So whatever it is that we decide to do, and obviously I'll do a bit of a survey and find out what people like, and we'll then put something together, it is going to be special. So whether we are in London or whether we're in Poland or whether we're in South Africa or Greece, it's irrelevant. Every adventure that you will undertake with me is going to be something to remember. I'm just thinking back now when I took my brother Anthony, I taught him how to dive. I was a diving instructor, and we actually went to Mozambique, and he was only an open water 1 student, and they still had to do their sea dives, and they qualified, they did their sea dives, and then we went diving with a whole bunch of other people who wasn't qualified through me. And I think it was a dive master who actually said to him, sure, how long have you been diving for? You dive so well. And he actually turned around and he said to this person, well, I actually only completed my open water dive course now. And the dive master said to Anthony, wow, you dive very well. You've been trained very well. Who's trained you? And Anthony just turned around and said, my sister trained me. And that was a really beautiful compliment, to take an open water diver who's done maybe a maximum of 10 dives, who was complimented by somebody who's like 3 levels higher than him, to say, but you dive very well, your buoyancy was super awesome, you watched your time. So yeah, exactly. So that's why I'm saying every adventure that you go on with me, you'll never ever be disappointed, and I will constantly challenge you to be better. Over to you, Marina.
Wow, Anthony, I'm really impressed with your students' qualities.
Thank you, Marina. Thank you. You know, I have to tell you that that's the other thing. As I said, I've been on plenty of adventures with Nickey all over the world at many different points in my life. And the one thing I think, if I have to sum up what that quality is that makes you feel so comfortable with Nickey, is that she really has your well-being at heart first. You know, diving is a very dangerous sport, and it's not to be taken lightly. There's safety procedures that need to happen, and so many people in that sport, for example, don't take those procedures seriously. And you know, part of the compliment that I received was because there was a natural competency and confidence in my ability to dive, and that's only because Nickey made sure that she took the time to ensure that your safety comes first, that your well-being comes first, that you are comfortable doing what you're doing. And that's very important, because it's a fine line. It's a fine line between feeling like you can do something and you can't do something. And it just takes someone to say one little thing to be able to make you believe that you can do it. And when Nickey spends one-on-one time or even group time with people, she always just seems to have the ability to know what to say to get you out of your comfort zone. I remember standing on a rock the first time I went snorkeling with Nickey in the Cape of Good Hope in Cape Town, South Africa. I was 14 and we went snorkeling in the ocean, and the tide was out and the water was smashing up against this big rock, and we had to jump into the ocean off of this rock, but we had to jump into the ocean as the wave hit the rock, so that when the wave pulled back into the ocean, it could pull us out with the tide. And I was absolutely petrified. I was petrified. I was petrified, and I watched them all do it one after the other. And these were Navy divers, you know. And we sat on this rock for about 20 minutes. The others had already gone off. They were snorkeling, and Nickey sat there patiently with me, getting me to the point where I believed, right, I can actually make this jump. And then obviously making that jump, I mean, that was such a big confidence booster in my character, especially at a young age, because I really felt like I had someone that had my back, that I could trust, and that actually got me through it safely and made me feel like a rock star for being able to do something like that, you know. So I think that's, to me, what it makes me so excited for Nickey and her adventure and her journey as the, you know, adventure radio host, is because I really can't think of anybody better than Nickey to help people, especially people that, you know, I'm adventurous by nature, and I have my limits and I have my fears, but there's a lot of people out there that would love to do something like go scuba diving or bungee jumping or go on a cycling safari through Africa or whatever the case may be, that would never do it, that would stay in their box, stay in their rut, and never believe they can achieve any more than what they have. And yeah, that's to me what makes Nickey's gift so special, is that people that are in that circumstance, in that position, I think somewhere deep inside all of them, they're all wishing there was someone out there like Nickey that could hold their hand, that could support them through that experience, and hold their hand to reach a point where they see life and things from a different perspective. So I feel very blessed and very humbled and very lucky to have Nickey as my sister, and not just as my friend, but mostly as my sister. So yeah, thank you.
Wow, what a ride! I remember it was that old quote by Eliot, I think, and they were saying that only when you risk going too far, you can possibly find out how far you can go. But I think we should change that and say only when you go with Nickey, you can possibly find out how far you can go. Nickey, back to you. Yes.
Back to you.
Thank you, Marina, and thank you, Anthony, for those kind words. Yes, I promise you, never a dull moment when you join Nickey, the adventure host, and adventures across the world, obviously focusing on South Africa with all the beautiful scenery and exciting adventures that we have. So please log on to my website, www.adultadventureclub.co.za, fill in your credentials, get back to me, let me know what your activity of choice is, and let's set something up and let's get started. Over to you, Marina.
Anthony, what is the key message for today?
The key message for today, I would say, is if you have been sitting at home feeling like something needs to change in your life, then you definitely need to contact Nickey. And no matter what adventure gets put together for you, you will definitely not be the same person afterwards, and you will be grateful and thankful that you gave yourself the opportunity to get in contact with Nickey, because it will definitely be life-changing.
Something is crossing my mind, and I have to say it. I think the Adult Adventure Club is the only thing you can buy that makes you richer. From all of us, until next time, is goodbye.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.